Ladies and gentlemen, negative thinking is a silent thief. It sneaks into your mind, distorts your perspective, and robs you of your potential before you even realize it. It isn't just a bad habit, it's a destructive force that can cripple your dreams, paralyze your actions, and lock you in a prison of fear and doubt. If you want to live a life of significance, if you want to accomplish great things, you must declare war on negative thinking and destroy it before it destroys you. Negative thinking is not a reflection of reality, it's a reflection of your perception. What you focus on expands. If your thoughts are consumed by doubt, worry, and failure, then that is exactly what your life will reflect. But here's the truth: you were not created to dwell in negativity. You were designed to thrive, to succeed, and to lead a life of purpose and joy. The mind is the most powerful tool you possess. Every decision, every action, every success begins in the mind. It is the battlefield where dreams are either won or lost. But here's the challenge: negative thoughts grow automatically if they are not deliberately challenged. They take root when you allow fear, comparison, and past failures to dominate your thinking. If you want to kill your negative thinking, you must first recognize it for what it is: a lie. A lie that says you're not good enough. A lie that says you can't achieve your goals. A lie that says your past mistakes define your future. These lies thrive in the absence of truth. The way to defeat negative thinking is not to fight it directly, is to replace it. You cannot simply tell your mind to stop thinking negatively. You must give it something greater to focus on. Focus on your vision. Focus on your potential. Focus on the possibilities that lie ahead. Every time a negative thought enters your mind, counter it with truth. For example, when you think, "I'll never succeed," remind yourself, "Success is the result of consistent effort, and I'm capable of achieving it." When you think, "I'm not good enough," replace it with, "I am growing, learning, and becoming the person I need to be to succeed." Your thoughts are shaped by what you allow into your life. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, whether it's toxic people, discouraging media, or environments that pull you down, your mind will reflect that. To kill your negative thinking, you must guard your environment. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Feed your mind with ideas that inspire you, and place yourself in situations that challenge you to grow. Killing negative thinking requires discipline. It won't happen overnight, and it won't happen by accident. You must train your mind daily. Start each morning with a moment of reflection and gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful antidotes to negativity because it shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. When you face challenges, don't dwell on what could go wrong. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this situation help me grow? Discipline your mind to see setbacks as opportunities, not obstacles. When you kill negative thinking, you unlock the power of positive action. Positive thinking is not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on solutions instead of problems, on opportunities instead of limitations, on growth instead of failure. When you think positively, your energy changes, your confidence grows, and your actions become aligned with your goals. It doesn't mean you won't face challenges, but it does mean you'll face them with the mindset of a conqueror, not a victim. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. Negative thinking is not something to manage, it's something to eliminate. Kill it with truth, with discipline, and with vision. Remember this: your mind is the foundation of your future. Guard it, train it, and fill it with thoughts that empower you to become the person you were destined to be. The life you desire begins with the thoughts you allow to grow. So kill your negative thinking once and for all and step into the greatness that awaits you. The negative thinking is a silent thief. It doesn't announce itself, it doesn't make a loud noise. Instead, it creeps in slowly and subtly without warning. It enters your mind when you're not paying attention, and before you know it, it has robbed you of your peace, your potential, and your progress. It steals the very essence of who you are and clouds your judgment with doubt, fear, and insecurity. The insidious nature of negative thinking lies in its ability to disguise itself as harmless, to convince you that it's simply a byproduct of your circumstances, when in reality, it is actively sabotaging your life, your dreams, and your success. The true danger of negative thinking is not in its loudness, but in how it quietly undermines your confidence, distorts your perspective, and holds you captive in a state of fear and uncertainty. Most people don't realize how deeply negative thinking affects their lives. It's easy to dismiss those small moments of self-doubt or worry as just natural responses to life's challenges, but those fleeting moments, when left unchecked, accumulate and compound. They multiply until they overshadow your ability to see solutions, to take risks, to push through difficulties. Over time, negative thoughts can begin to dominate your mind, influencing your decisions, your actions, and your overall outlook on life. The more you entertain them, the stronger they become, until they define who you are and limit your potential. The thief that is negative thinking doesn't just steal your joy, it also steals your ability to take action. When you're consumed with thoughts of failure, inadequacy, or fear, it becomes difficult to move forward. Even the smallest opportunities seem impossible to seize because your mind is clouded with uncertainty and doubt. Negative thinking paralyzes you by convincing you that you're not enough, that the obstacles in your path are insurmountable, and that there is no hope of change. It's in these moments that you begin to believe that your circumstances define you, that your past mistakes determine your future, and that your potential is limited by the boundaries your negative thoughts have created. It's important to understand that negative thinking is not just a byproduct of challenging situations, it's often a habit that has been ingrained over time. From a young age, we are taught to focus on what could go wrong rather than what could go right. Society conditions us to prepare for the worst, to brace for disappointment, and to assume that failure is inevitable. We hear messages that tell us we aren't good enough, that we don't measure up, that we don't measure up, that we need to be more and achieve more to be worthy. These messages feed into our subconscious, becoming the foundation for our self-limiting beliefs. Over time, these beliefs begin to shape our thoughts and ultimately our actions. Negative thinking becomes the default mode of operation. And it becomes difficult to break free from the cycle of self-doubt and fear. The power of negative thinking lies not just in the thoughts themselves, but in the way those thoughts shape your reality. When you consistently focus on the negative, you begin to see only the obstacles, the problems, and the limitations in your life. Your perspective becomes distorted, and it becomes difficult to see the opportunities that surround you. You may find yourself constantly comparing your life to others, feeling inadequate or behind, even though everyone's journey is different. You may find yourself trapped in a cycle of regret, replaying past mistakes and failures in your mind and letting them dictate your present and future. Negative thinking keeps you focused on what you don't have, what you've lost, and what you fear, rather than on what you can achieve, what you can create, and the limitless possibilities that lie ahead. One of the most dangerous aspects of negative thinking is how it can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you believe that you're not good enough, not worthy, or not capable of achieving your goals, you unconsciously begin to act in ways that reinforce those beliefs. You may avoid taking risks, procrastinate on important tasks, or settle for mediocrity because deep down you don't believe that you deserve anything better. The more you entertain these negative thoughts, the more they shape your behavior and ultimately your results. Your mind becomes the breeding ground for failure, and what was once just a thought becomes your reality. But the most insidious aspect of negative thinking is how it affects your sense of self-worth. It strips you of your confidence, makes you second-guess your decisions, and convinces you that you're powerless in the face of life's challenges. When you allow negative thinking to dominate your mind, you begin to see yourself as incapable, unworthy, and unimportant. You stop believing in your ability to succeed, to overcome obstacles, or to make a difference. You begin to settle for less, not because you don't deserve more, but because you no longer believe that more is possible for you. Negative thinking convinces you that you're not worthy of success, happiness, or fulfillment, and it keeps you locked in a cycle of self-doubt and fear. At the heart of negative thinking lies a lack of faith in yourself, faith in your abilities, and faith in the possibility of change. Negative thinking thrives in an environment of fear and uncertainty. It tells you that you can't trust yourself, that you can't trust the process, and that the future is something to be feared rather than embraced. But the truth is, you have everything you need to overcome negative thinking. You have the power to shift your mindset, to reframe your thoughts, and to choose a new path. The key is to become aware of your thoughts and recognize when they are steering you in a negative direction. The moment you notice a negative thought, you must challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Does it serve me? The more you practice this kind of mindfulness, the easier it becomes to replace negative thoughts with positive, empowering ones. It is essential to remember that negative thinking does not define who you are. It is a habit, a pattern of thought that you can change. The first step in breaking free from the grip of negative thinking is to acknowledge its presence in your life and understand the impact it is having on you. Once you recognize that negative thinking is a thief, you can begin to take action to stop it. You don't have to let it control you. You can take back your power by consciously choosing to focus on positive, empowering thoughts. By shifting your perspective, you can transform your mind and your life. You are not your thoughts. You are the creator of your thoughts. You have the ability to change the direction of your thinking, and in doing so, change the course of your life. The battle against negative thinking is not easy, but it is possible. It takes time, effort, and dedication to rewiring your brain and creating new thought patterns. But the rewards are worth it. When you learn to eliminate negative thinking from your life, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. You begin to see opportunities where once there were only obstacles. You develop a mindset that is focused on solutions, growth, and success. You start to believe in your own potential and take action towards your goals with confidence and clarity. Negative thinking may have been a thief in your past, but it doesn't have to be a thief in your future. The moment you recognize its presence and take action to eliminate it, you begin the journey toward reclaiming your life, your dreams, and your true potential. The mind is the battlefield. Every day we engage in a war, not with the people around us, not with our environment, but with the thoughts that run through our minds. The battle is fought within the confines of our own consciousness, where the enemy is not an external force, but an internal one. This battle determines how we experience the world, how we perceive ourselves, and how we navigate through life. Whether we win or lose this battle influences the direction of our lives, the quality of our decisions, and the outcomes we ultimately achieve. What we allow to dominate our mind shapes the course of our reality. The battlefield of the mind is not a place that can be seen with the eyes, but it is the most important place you will ever fight. On this battleground, you will encounter every negative thought, every self-doubt, every fear, and every insecurity. These are the forces that seek to sabotage your potential and keep you from becoming the person you were meant to be. Negative thoughts, whether they are about yourself, others, or the world in general, are like invaders that creep in and try to take control of your thinking, your emotions, and your actions. They appear subtle at first, perhaps in the form of a passing worry or a fleeting moment of doubt. But when you let them linger, they grow in strength and influence, feeding off your attention and your belief in them. This internal battle often goes unnoticed, and many are unaware that they are even engaged in such a fight. We get so caught up in the daily routines of life, in the external challenges we face, that we neglect to recognize that the most significant struggle is taking place within our own minds. It's easy to blame our circumstances, our environment, or the people around us for our struggles. But the truth is, much of the conflict we experience in life is a direct result of how we think. Our thoughts determine our actions, and our actions ultimately create our reality. If we allow negative thoughts to dominate our minds, we end up sabotaging our own progress, and the life we want to live remains out of reach. The mind is an incredibly powerful force. What we think and believe about ourselves shapes the way we act. And the way we act determines the course of our lives. If we constantly think thoughts of failure, limitation, and defeat, we will start to act in ways that reflect those beliefs. We will make decisions that align with the idea that we are not capable, that we are not worthy of success, and that we are powerless to change our circumstances. On the other hand, when we cultivate a mindset of possibility, abundance, and resilience, we begin to act in ways that reflect those empowering beliefs. We take risks, we push through challenges, and we continue to move forward despite setbacks. The quality of our thoughts determines the quality of our actions, and the quality of our actions determines the quality of our lives. This is why the mind is the battlefield. The enemy isn't necessarily outside forces that are against us often. The greatest enemy is the voice inside our heads, the voice that tells us we're not good enough, that we can't succeed, and that we should give up. This inner voice, often referred to as the inner critic, is one of the most powerful forces that can hold us back in life. It tells us to play it safe, to not take risks, to avoid stepping outside our comfort zones. It convinces us that we are better off staying where we are, even if where we are is far from where we want to be. The enemy also comes in the form of fear and self-doubt. These emotions are like soldiers that march into our minds and plant seeds of uncertainty. Fear whispers that we are not capable of handling the challenges ahead, that failure is inevitable, and that the worst possible outcome is always around the corner. Self-doubt tells us that we are not worthy of success, that we are not qualified to achieve our goals, and that others are more deserving of happiness and success than we are. These thoughts and emotions don't come from a place of truth, they come from our own insecurities and past experiences. Yet, when we allow them to take hold, they dictate the choices we make and the actions we take. But there is hope. The mind, though a battlefield, is also a place of great power. It is not a place where we are helpless victims of our thoughts, but a place where we can take control and choose which thoughts we will entertain. We are not powerless in the face of our thoughts. We have the power to challenge them, to question them, and to replace them with thoughts that are more aligned with the truth of who we are and what we are capable of achieving. It's important to understand that the mind is not a passive recipient of thoughts. It is an active participant in the creation of our reality. We don't have to passively accept whatever thoughts come our way. Instead, we can consciously choose to engage with those thoughts that empower us and reject those that hold us back. The battle of the mind is not won in a single moment, but in the daily decisions we make to take control of our thinking. Every time a negative thought arises, we have a choice. We can accept it as truth, or we can challenge it and replace it with a thought that aligns with our goals and our values. This is not always easy. Negative thoughts are persistent, and they often appear when we are facing challenges or feeling vulnerable. But it is in these moments that we must be the most vigilant. When we feel fear, doubt, or insecurity creeping in, that is when we must remind ourselves of the truth of our abilities, the strength of our character, and the power of our vision. We must remind ourselves that we are capable of overcoming challenges and achieving our goals, regardless of the obstacles that may arise. The key to winning the battle of the mind is to be aware of the thoughts we are thinking and to take responsibility for them. We cannot afford to let our minds run on autopilot, allowing negative thoughts to dictate our actions and outcomes. We must actively cultivate a mindset that is focused on solutions, growth, and possibility. This requires discipline and commitment, but the rewards are well worth the effort. When we take control of our thoughts, we take control of our lives. We begin to see opportunities where we once saw obstacles, solutions where we once saw problems, and possibilities where we once saw limitations. One of the most effective strategies for winning the battle of the mind is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being present in the moment and observing our thoughts without judgment. By becoming more aware of the thoughts that arise in our minds, we can catch negative thoughts before they have a chance to take root. We can then choose to replace them with thoughts that are more aligned with our goals and values. This practice requires patience and self-compassion as we learn to become less reactive to the thoughts that arise and more intentional about the thoughts we choose to nurture. Another powerful strategy for winning the battle of the mind is affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that we repeat to ourselves in order to reprogram our minds and replace negative beliefs with empowering ones. By repeating affirmations daily, we begin to shift our mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility. We begin to believe in our own abilities and to see ourselves as capable of achieving our goals. Affirmations help to counter the negative self-talk that often holds us back and replace it with thoughts that support our success and well-being. In addition to mindfulness and affirmations, another key element in winning the battle of the mind is surrounding ourselves with positive influences. The people we associate with, the media we consume, and the environments we spend time in all have a significant impact on our thoughts and beliefs. When we surround ourselves with individuals who are positive, encouraging, and supportive, we are more likely to adopt a similar mindset. Similarly, when we engage with content that uplifts and inspires us, we are more likely to think thoughts that support our growth and success. Our environment is a reflection of our mind, and by intentionally curating a positive environment, we create the conditions for our minds to thrive. Ultimately, the battle of the mind is one that requires constant vigilance and active participation. It is a battle that will continue for as long as we live, but it is also a battle that we can win. The key to winning is not to eliminate negative thoughts completely, because that's not possible, but to change our relationship with those thoughts. When we choose to challenge negative thoughts, replace them with positive ones, and focus on solutions instead of problems, we take control of the battlefield and move closer to the life we desire. The mind is the battlefield, but it is also the place where we can create our greatest victories. The human mind is a powerful instrument capable of shaping our lives, our relationships, and our reality. Every thought, belief, and perception we hold influences the course of our day and the trajectory of our life. The challenge, however, is that for many, the mind is often dominated by negative thinking, self-doubt, fear, insecurity, and limiting beliefs. These thoughts invade our minds like unwanted guests, distorting our perception of reality and preventing us from experiencing the fullness of life. However, there is a way to free ourselves from this grip of negativity and replace it with truth, the truth of who we are, the truth of our potential, and the truth of our power to create the life we desire. The process of replacing negativity with truth is one of the most transformative actions we can take, but it requires discipline, awareness, and a deep understanding of our own minds. Negative thinking is a natural part of the human experience. It's not something that we consciously choose, nor is it something we can always control. Our minds are wired to protect us from danger, and part of that protection involves focusing on the potential threats around us. Unfortunately, over time, this protective mechanism can become distorted, and we begin to see threats where none exist. Negative thinking can become so ingrained in our mental framework that we begin to believe it as truth. We start to believe that we are not good enough, that we are incapable of achieving our goals, or that we are unworthy of success and happiness. These thoughts, if left unchecked, can paralyze us, prevent us from taking action, and ultimately keep us stuck in a life that is far from what we truly want. The first step in replacing negativity with truth is to become aware of the thoughts that dominate our minds. Awareness is the key to change. Without awareness, we continue to operate on autopilot, letting negative thoughts flow unchecked through our consciousness. By simply becoming more mindful of the thoughts that arise, we begin to recognize when negativity is taking hold. We can start to identify the negative patterns in our thinking, those recurring thoughts that tell us we are not enough, that we can't do something, or that we are destined to fail. Once we become aware of these thoughts, we are in a position to challenge them and replace them with something more empowering. One of the most powerful tools in this process is self-awareness. Self-awareness allows us to see ourselves as in our thoughts from a place of objectivity, rather than getting lost in them. When we take a step back and observe our thoughts, we can see them for what they truly are: temporary mental patterns that don't define who we are. Negative thoughts are like clouds that pass through the sky. They come and go, but they don't have to determine the weather of our lives. The key is not to be ruled by our thoughts, but to be aware of them, recognize their impermanence, and choose not to give them power over us. The next step in replacing negativity with truth is to recognize that our thoughts do not define us. We are not our thoughts. The thoughts that arise in our minds are simply a reflection of our current mental state, not a reflection of our true selves. Our true nature is not defined by our fears, insecurities, or limiting beliefs. We are not defined by our past mistakes, our failures, or the opinions of others. Our true nature is one of infinite potential, strength, and resilience. We have the power to create, to innovate, and to transform our lives. We are not bound by the negative thoughts that arise in our minds. We are free to choose a different path, one that is based on the truth of who we are and what we are capable of achieving. In order to replace negativity with truth, we must learn to challenge the false beliefs and assumptions that fuel our negative thinking. Many of the negative thoughts we have about ourselves are rooted in false beliefs that we have carried with us throughout our lives. These beliefs may have been formed in childhood based on the messages we received from our parents, teachers, or peers. They may have been reinforced by society, media, or past experiences. But the truth is that these beliefs are not facts. They are simply stories we have been telling ourselves. And just like any story, we have the power to change it. We have the ability to rewrite the narrative of our lives by replacing the false beliefs with truths that empower us. For example, many people struggle with the belief that they are not good enough. This belief often stems from childhood experiences where we may have been criticized or compared to others. We internalize these experiences and carry them with us into adulthood, believing that we are somehow flawed or inadequate. But the truth is that we are all inherently valuable, capable, and worthy of success and happiness. No one is born with a deficiency of worth or potential. We are all born with the ability to create, to achieve, and to make a positive impact in the world. Replacing the belief of I am not good enough with the truth of I am enough just as I am is a powerful way to shift our mindset and move toward a more empowered life. Another common negative belief is the fear of failure. Many people are paralyzed by the thought of making mistakes or falling short of their goals. This fear can prevent us from taking action and pursuing our dreams. But the truth is that failure is not something to fear. It is a necessary part of growth and success. Every successful person has encountered failure along the way. Failure is simply a stepping stone to success, a lesson that teaches us what works and what doesn't. When we embrace failure as a natural part of the process, we take away its power to hold us back. Instead of seeing failure as a negative outcome, we can view it as a valuable learning experience that moves us closer to our goals. Another powerful truth to replace negativity with is the understanding that we have the power to create our own reality. Our thoughts and beliefs shape the way we perceive the world and the way we respond to it. When we believe that we are powerless, that we have no control over our circumstances, we become victims of our environment. But the truth is that we are the creators of our reality. We have the ability to shape our lives through the choices we make, the actions we take, and the mindset we cultivate. By changing the way we think, we change the way we experience life. When we believe in our own power and take responsibility for our lives, we open up a world of endless possibilities. Replacing negativity with truth also involves cultivating a mindset of gratitude. When we focus on what is wrong in our lives, we magnify the negative aspects of our reality. But when we choose to focus on what is right, on the blessings, the opportunities, and the progress we have made, we begin to shift our energy and our mindset. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to negativity, as it helps us to see the positive aspects of our lives and to appreciate what we have. By cultivating a practice of gratitude, we train our minds to focus on abundance rather than scarcity, on possibility rather than limitation. The process of replacing negativity with truth is not an overnight transformation. It is a lifelong journey that requires continuous effort, self-reflection, and commitment. Negative thoughts will always arise. They are a natural part of being human. But the key is not to let them control us. We have the power to choose which thoughts we give energy to, which beliefs we hold, and which stories we tell ourselves. By consistently replacing negativity with truth, we begin to create a life that is in alignment with our highest potential. We begin to step into the fullness of who we are, and we move toward a life that is rich with possibility, growth, and fulfillment. The truth is that we are capable of far more than we often realize, and when we replace the lies of negativity with the empowering truth of our potential, we unlock the door to a brighter, more purposeful future. The environment in which we find ourselves is not just a physical space, but an emotional, mental, and spiritual ecosystem that shapes who we are and who we are becoming. It influences our thoughts, our actions, our choices, and our overall well-being. It is the soil in which our ideas take root and our dreams either grow or wither. Just as a garden requires the right conditions, good soil, adequate water, sufficient sunlight to flourish, so too do our lives. If we want to thrive, we must guard the environments that nourish our growth and protect ourselves from those that poison our potential. The power of environment cannot be overstated. It is often said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not a mere metaphor. It is a profound truth about the way human beings interact with the world. Our environment, whether it's the people we surround ourselves with, the places we frequent, the media we consume, or even the energy we allow into our lives, has a direct impact on the quality of our thoughts, our emotions, and ultimately our actions. The reality is that we are constantly being influenced by the world around us, whether we realize it or not. Every word we hear, every image we see, every interaction we have plants a seed in our mind that will either support our growth or hinder it. Therefore, if we wish to succeed in life and live according to our highest potential, we must become intentional about guarding our environment. One of the most powerful aspects of the environment is the people in it. Relationships are one of the most influential factors in shaping our mindset. The people we spend time with either uplift us or drain us, either inspire us or discourage us. It's crucial to recognize the impact that others have on our lives and to be discerning about the company we keep. Negative people, those who constantly complain, criticize, or exude pessimism, can poison our thoughts and lead us down a path of doubt and self-sabotage. Conversely, positive, supportive, and ambitious individuals can fuel our passion, challenge us to grow, and provide the encouragement we need to keep pushing forward. Being surrounded by people who share our values and our vision is essential for maintaining a healthy mental and emotional environment. These individuals will help us stay focused on our goals and remind us of our potential when we start to waver. They will hold us accountable and provide guidance when we face challenges. The energy that we exchange with others is real, and it has the power to either elevate or diminish us. Therefore, we must be intentional about choosing our relationships carefully. This does not mean cutting off everyone who isn't perfectly aligned with our vision, but it does mean setting boundaries and creating space for those who support and inspire us. Guarding our environment also means being mindful of the spaces we inhabit. The physical environment we surround ourselves with plays a significant role in our mental and emotional state. A cluttered, chaotic space can leave us feeling overwhelmed and distracted, while an organized, peaceful environment can foster clarity and focus. The design of our living or working spaces, the cleanliness, the colors, and the overall ambience all contribute to our mental state. It's important to create spaces that are conducive to the life we want to live. If we want to be more productive, for example, we must design our work environment to encourage focus and efficiency. If we seek peace and relaxation, our home environment must reflect those desires with soothing colors, minimal distractions, and an atmosphere of calm. Beyond physical spaces, the media we consume is another crucial element of our environment. The information we expose ourselves to through news, social media, television, books, or even casual conversations shapes our worldview. If we constantly consume negative news or engage with content that reinforces fear, hate, or hopelessness, it will inevitably affect our mindset. Our thoughts will become more anxious, more cynical, and more fearful. In contrast, if we choose to engage with content that is uplifting, positive, and growth-oriented, it will fuel our aspirations and motivate us to take action toward our goals. The mind is like a sponge, constantly soaking up information, whether we are conscious of it or not. This is why it is essential to guard the type of content we expose ourselves to. We must be selective, not only about the people we allow into our lives, but also about the ideas, stories, and energies that we invite into our minds. The language we use both internally and externally is another crucial element of our environment. Words have power. This is a truth that cannot be ignored. The language we speak to ourselves shapes our self-image, our confidence, and our belief in what is possible. If we constantly tell ourselves that we are not good enough, that we will never succeed, or that we are incapable of achieving our dreams, we are reinforcing negative beliefs and programming our minds for failure. On the other hand, if we use positive affirmations, speak words of encouragement, and adopt a mindset of possibility, we begin to reshape our reality. The words we use to describe ourselves, our situations, and our future are powerful tools that can either empower us or limit us. Therefore, guarding our environment means being vigilant about the language we allow to shape our thoughts and our lives. Energy is another important factor to consider when guarding our environment. Everything around us, people, objects, places, even thoughts, has its own energy. Some environments radiate positivity and vitality, while others drain us of energy and leave us feeling depleted. Negative energy can manifest in many forms, such as toxic people, stressful situations, or even physical spaces that feel heavy or uncomfortable. It's crucial to be attuned to the energy of the environments we enter and to protect ourselves from draining or harmful energies. This doesn't mean we should avoid difficult situations or people altogether, but we must be aware of the impact they have on our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. We can protect ourselves by setting boundaries, taking time for self-care, and surrounding ourselves with people and environments that nourish our energy. Spirituality also plays a vital role in the environments we choose to engage with. Whether or not we follow a specific religious or spiritual path, the energy and values associated with spirituality can help guide us toward a more positive and fulfilling life. Connecting with our inner selves, aligning with our core values, and seeking moments of peace and reflection can significantly impact the environment in which we thrive. A strong spiritual foundation can provide us with resilience in the face of adversity, clarity in times of confusion, and strength when we feel weak. By nurturing our spiritual lives, we protect ourselves from external pressures and create an inner sanctuary that is impervious to the negativity of the outside world. It is also important to recognize that we are not passive participants in our environment. We have the power to create and shape the environments we inhabit. The choices we make, the attitudes we adopt, and the actions we take all contribute to the overall atmosphere of our lives. If we want to live in an environment that supports our goals and aspirations, we must be proactive in creating it. This means setting clear intentions, taking deliberate actions, and aligning our choices with the life we desire. We have the power to influence our environment just as much as it influences us. When we take control of our surroundings and make choices that reflect our values and vision, we create an environment that nurtures our growth, supports our well-being, and propels us towards success. In conclusion, guarding our environment is not a passive act, but an active and intentional choice. The people we interact with, the places we frequent, the information we consume, the language we speak, and the energy we allow into our lives all play a significant role in shaping who we are and who we are becoming. By being mindful of the environments we create and the influences we invite into our lives, we can cultivate a space that supports our personal growth, enhances our well-being, and empowers us to live our best life. It is our responsibility to protect our minds, our hearts, and our souls from the negative forces that seek to diminish our potential and to create an environment that fosters positivity, possibility, and progress. Only then can we truly live the life we were meant to live. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, but it begins not in the realm of action, but in the mind. Every decision, every success, every failure starts with a thought. Our minds are the birthplace of everything we do. If we are to live a life of purpose, achievement, and fulfillment, it's not just our actions that need discipline, but our thinking. The mind is like a garden, and thoughts are the seeds that either yield beautiful flowers or destructive weeds. Without daily discipline, negative or unproductive thoughts can easily take root, overshadowing the possibilities of success and happiness. To achieve great things, one must learn to master the art of disciplined thinking. The first step in disciplining our thoughts is recognizing the profound impact that our thoughts have on our lives. They shape the way we perceive ourselves, the world around us, and the challenges we face. Thoughts shape our identity, influence our decisions, and ultimately define our actions. The words we speak and the beliefs we hold are born from our thoughts. Our habits, the things we do every day, are merely a reflection of the patterns of thought we entertain consistently. If our minds are undisciplined, if we let negative thoughts dominate, then the actions that follow will be inconsistent, reactive, and often unproductive. Daily discipline of thought requires us to be vigilant. It demands that we pay attention to the constant flow of mental activity that occurs every moment of our lives. Without vigilance, negative or distracting thoughts can slip past unnoticed, taking hold and shaping our behavior in subtle but destructive ways. We must understand that our thoughts are not just fleeting things, they are powerful forces that direct the course of our lives. This awareness helps us recognize when we are on a path of self-sabotage or distraction. For example, negative thoughts about our abilities, appearance, or worth can create deep insecurities that ultimately shape our reality. If we allow these thoughts to go unchecked, we will end up making choices that are not aligned with our true potential. On the other hand, when we choose to focus on thoughts that are constructive, empowering, and in line with our goals, we lay the foundation for positive outcomes. A disciplined mind does not allow itself to be swayed by every emotion or impulse. The nature of the mind is such that it is easily influenced by external circumstances, the opinions of others, and immediate emotions. However, we must understand that we are not at the mercy of every thought that comes our way. While we cannot always control the thoughts that arise, we do have the power to choose which ones we entertain. This is where discipline comes in. It is the practice of deliberately directing the flow of our thoughts. It is the ability to choose focus over distraction, peace over anxiety, confidence over doubt. When we discipline our thinking, we gain control over our responses to life's challenges. We can choose to react from a place of clarity and purpose rather than from fear or confusion. This is not to say that negative emotions or thoughts will not arise. They inevitably will. But by cultivating the discipline to observe them without getting swept away by them, we can maintain control and not let them dictate our behavior. One of the most powerful tools in disciplining our thoughts is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being present in the moment, fully aware of our thoughts and feelings without judgment. It allows us to observe the patterns of our thinking and recognize when our thoughts are drifting toward negativity, self-doubt, or distraction. With mindfulness, we can then redirect our focus, bringing our attention back to the present moment and to thoughts that are aligned with our goals and values. This practice helps to break the cycle of negative thinking that often goes unnoticed and unchecked. It also helps us become aware of the limiting beliefs we may hold and the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what is possible. These beliefs are not always based on reality, but rather on past experiences, fears, and misconceptions. By practicing disciplined thinking, we can challenge these beliefs, reframe our thoughts, and choose a more empowering narrative. Another crucial aspect of disciplining our thoughts is the conscious choice of what we feed our minds. The information we expose ourselves to has a profound impact on our thinking. Whether it's the people we listen to, the media we consume, or the conversations we engage in, everything we encounter influences our mental state. If we are constantly exposed to negativity, criticism, and pessimism, it becomes much harder to maintain a disciplined and positive mindset. On the other hand, when we seek out uplifting, educational, and inspiring content, we create an environment that supports positive thinking and personal growth. This is why it's important to be selective about the influences in our lives. We must take responsibility for the input we allow into our minds, as it will ultimately shape the way we think and behave. By making deliberate choices about what we read, watch, and listen to, we can feed our minds with ideas that inspire, challenge, and elevate us. It is also essential to establish a routine that supports disciplined thinking. Just as physical exercise strengthens the body, mental exercises can strengthen the mind. Regular practices like meditation, journaling, and affirmations help to train the mind to focus, remain calm, and stay aligned with our goals. Meditation, for example, helps to clear the mind of distractions and fosters inner peace, allowing us to approach challenges with a clearer perspective. Journaling allows us to express our thoughts, gain clarity, and reflect on our goals and progress. Affirmations help reprogram the subconscious mind by replacing negative beliefs with positive, empowering statements. These practices not only help us cultivate disciplined thinking, but also provide us with tools to maintain that discipline throughout our daily lives. When we make these practices a part of our daily routine, we create a strong mental foundation that can withstand the challenges and distractions that life throws our way. Moreover, disciplining our thinking means recognizing and rejecting the urge to engage in negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is one of the most common ways we sabotage ourselves. The inner critic can be a powerful voice in our minds, constantly telling us that we are not good enough, that we will fail, or that we are unworthy of success. However, we must realize that these thoughts are not facts. They are simply the result of our conditioning, past experiences, and fears. By recognizing these thoughts for what they are, we can begin to detach from them and replace them with more supportive, compassionate thoughts. This process requires practice and patience, but over time we can learn to speak to ourselves in a more loving and encouraging way. When we replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations, constructive feedback, and self-compassion, we create a mental environment that is conducive to growth and success. Disciplining our thinking also involves developing the ability to persevere in the face of adversity. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and obstacles, and it's easy to become discouraged when things don't go according to plan. However, a disciplined mind doesn't give up when faced with difficulty. Instead, it sees obstacles as opportunities for growth and learning. It understands that setbacks are not permanent and that success is the result of persistent effort. A disciplined thinker refuses to be defeated by temporary failures and maintains focus on the long-term vision. This ability to persevere and remain positive in the face of adversity is a key characteristic of successful individuals. It is this mindset that allows them to keep moving forward, even when the road is tough, knowing that every challenge is part of the journey towards success. Lastly, it's important to remember that disciplining our thinking is a lifelong practice. It is not something that can be achieved overnight, but rather something that requires daily effort, commitment, and self-awareness. Just as we must exercise discipline in our actions, we must exercise discipline in our thoughts. The mind is constantly active, and without conscious effort, it can easily fall into negative or unproductive patterns. Therefore, it's essential to make disciplined thinking a daily habit. By doing so, we train our minds to be more focused, more resilient, and more aligned with our highest potential. Ultimately, disciplining our thinking is about taking control of our lives. It's about recognizing that we have the power to choose our thoughts and, by extension, our actions. It's about choosing to focus on what is positive, empowering, and aligned with our goals. It's about rejecting the thoughts that limit us and replacing them with thoughts that inspire us to take bold, consistent action. By disciplining our thinking daily, we lay the foundation for a life of purpose, achievement, and fulfillment.